my name is Rachel Kraus, and I will be discussing how resisting temptation, a topic covered in Nudge, impacts both my professional and personal life. I am what I would consider an active person. I enjoy biking, running, and cross-training. But with the pressures of school, work, and personal obligations, I sometimes lose track of those goals. I have found that I have a clear understanding of my internal planner and doer personas, as Thaler and Sunstein describe in their book. I was surprised to see that I actually use one of their self-control strategies of making informal bets. A few years ago, when I first started my MBA, I signed up for 6 road races throughout that year, including a marathon. I did so knowing that I've completed a similar amount in the past, so I figured this would be doable. I fell prey to my optimism in that year, drastically underestimating the time it would take to be a full-time employee, part-time student, what I thought would be part-time runner, and planning my wedding. I only ran one of those 6 races, wasting almost $400 on registration that I never redeemed. More importantly, I had a deep sense of failure, though that failure was really only to myself. The next year, I pared back my ambitions and employed the practice of making informal bets. I made my intentions known to my close friends that I would run 3 races in the coming year, a much more attainable goal. That would be the Get in Gear 10K, Red, White, and Boom Half Marathon, and TC 10 Mile. They would hold me accountable, and in return, I held them accountable to their goals that year, similar to the Gym Pact example in the Nudge article. This informal bet practice, in the way I used it, combined both social influence, in that I wanted to appear as I had good follow-through to my friends, as well as incentives, which would be avoiding social judgment, to ensure that I met my goals. I successfully ran 2 of the 3 races, only bowing out last minute from the TC 10 Mile because I had major unexpected surgery. The planner in me knew that I needed an additional measure of accountability other than my own internal benchmarks. By putting these informal bets in action, my doer was then forced to stick to my training schedule. I felt satisfied and self-vindicated with my results. Professionally, I work for a consumer healthcare company that does a lot of digital marketing. We have the fortune, as marketers in the digital age, to reach people at different stages of their buying process. I'll use the example of our strategy for Abreva, which is a cold sore medication if you're not familiar. We deliberately spend the majority of our marketing dollars on search advertising, with the goal of reaching users in their hot state, which means they would be actively suffering from a cold sore. When consumers are searching for information regarding cold sores, it indicates to us that they have an immediate need for treatment. That treatment can only be effective if applied within 1 day of feeling a tingle. We have a very, very short window to convert these consumers. In the days of traditional retail and traditional marketing, we could only deploy mass reach tactics such as television, which ultimately reached a lot of people we didn't need to, either those that didn't suffer from cold sores, which was a complete waste of our funds, or sufferers that were in their cold state, meaning they didn't have an immediate need and thus were less likely to buy. Digital programs have drastically impacted the marketing landscape and has made the world of small household penetration goods marketing more sophisticated. This has resulted in a more effective and efficient situation for both the marketing companies and the consumers that we